Hello everyone, this is just another video on conscious relationships. We are talking about how to get a relationship, how to maintain it, how to keep it, how to expand it, how to have a conscious relationship that feels fulfilling, amazing, juicy, constantly sparkling with an energy, with connection, with trust. So deepening those beautiful relationships in our lives. My name is Anastasha Grace, and I am transformational mentor. I'm an emotional well-being practitioner, deepening, conditioning coach. You can find me on anastashagrace.com. And basically, I work with people's subconscious, their patterns, their emotional baggage, everything that has been collected throughout the years and kind of holding us in certain limitations and restrictions. We shed that in our sessions. And one of the areas that I work with is relationships, because a relationship is that space that so many internal problems, worries, limitations, woundings, traumas, beliefs, expectations, all that comes out, you are very much exposed in the relationships. And it's not a place that actually going to get you complete or heal you all of a sudden. Of course it will with time and with the intention that you set up, but in the beginning, relationship is going to be a very vulnerable place and a very exposing place, and it's going to get you to really look into yourself. But today I would like to speak to you actually about being single. Before we can get into relationship, before we can look into how we can be all fulfilled and amazing and great in a relationship, we need to look into how are we when we are single, and why do we actually want to get into a relationship? What is your main reason? What is the main why? And the reason I'm asking is that if you are wanting to get into a relationship, get married, into marriage, just for the reason of finally being fulfilled, finally being complete, that's probably not the right reason. That's probably it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out for you in the long term, because the most connected and most delicious and most fulfilling and most amazing conscious relationship happen between two people that are sovereign, that are independent, that they know who they are complete by themselves. And when coming together, these two individuals coming together, and then they start this beautiful dance, okay, of who you are and who let me know who you are and I'll show you who I am, and let's merge into this union and create something of a third, which is in for example, I really love Stan Tatkin book. He calls it a couple bubble. So it's like a third entity, third energetic being that you two people create. It's like creating a child. But first, before creating a child, you create a union, you create a couple bubble. In order for this couple bubble to be created and to be stable and to be, in the most complete way, both people need to be complete in the way they are. So singlehood is so incredibly important for you to find out who you truly are without a relationship, by yourself, when you're single, when you're alone, and when you're on your own. And single doesn't mean alone. It doesn't mean loneliness. Sometimes it could mean aloneness for some people, which is different from loneliness. But if you are complete and fulfilled and giving yourself that love, that attention that you're seeking outside, you're not alone, and you will never feel lonely. So I invite you to ask yourself, what is the reason why are you looking for the relationship? Where have you done enough work where in yourself where you can say, yes, I am completely fine by myself. I actually enjoy my life as a single being. It's so delicious, so juicy. I never feel that I miss out on anything. And you feel completed, and you feel fulfilled and satisfied with yourself and your life just the way you are. And then, only then, you can start asking yourself, like, what's my purpose, what's my reason for looking for the relationship. And make sure you do this digging out, because it's so easy to skip through that step and just focus on, yes, but I want it, I know it's going to be great and it's amazing, and other people's relationships look amazing, so mine is going to be true, and that's what I want. That can backfire in later times. What you want to come true is that sense of non-detachment of, yes, the relationship would be lovely, would be amazing. I would love to share myself, my warmth, my attention, my love, my gifts with someone. But in the meantime, I'm sharing them with myself, and that feels great. So that sense of not detachment and not clinginess, like not clinging to the idea. I'll give you an example. I had a client that I did the reading for, so I'm kind of looking into his energetic space, and his main kind of not problem, but the issue that he addressed was, I can't find a relationship. I can't, and it really saddens me, and it really makes my life as not as great as I would like it to be, that I would imagine it to be, and I don't feel so fulfilled because I don't have a relationship. Basically, feeling like he's not good enough, or he's not great by himself and alone, or that it makes him a worse type of person. Something is just broken in him if he can't find the one, that woman that is going to spend many years with, and probably marry, and who's going to be his partner. So I looked into his energetic blueprint, and I had to be quite honest, and how much it's unpleasant it was quite unpleasant thing to share, but to say the following: you need to come in terms that you might never find her. You just need to come to that place that I am okay, and I'm going to have a great life, even if it's just, I'm going to be being just me by myself all the time. And you need to come to that place. Otherwise, it's not going to happen until you arrive to the place, I'm fine by myself. You do not have space to attract someone, because you're filled up with grief and sadness and not good enough. And there's just so much coming out of that thought that I am alone. There's so much, very highly difficult energy behind that thinking. Something is wrong with me. My life is not complete because I'm still single. That you're cutting off from yourself, from your own happiness by focusing on that. and allowing that kind of to brood in your field, in your energetic field, in your emotional field, in your thoughts. That's what you resonate right now. That's kind of vibrations that you're giving out. So basically I had to tell him that you need to come to terms first and look into possibility that you may never find her. Otherwise you're always living in that future anticipation and not grief at the same time, just constantly not being happy. This is like this cycle of not being happy and not enoughness. So because quite often we don't learn how to be just ourselves, just single, just alone, just enough. It can cause difficulties later in the relationship. I have my own example. I got married very early at the age of 21, and in the early days, like being a girl, being a woman, and being so in love and just being so consumed by that relationship, I just kind of engulfed him, and there were quite a few clashes between us. Like I was not emotionally kind of stable or satisfied. I wasn't in a place of ease, of emotional ease, because he would have his own moods. He would have his own kind of activities, so he would feel quite independent in his everyday life and his beings, and I felt very, very dependent of how he feels. What did he say? How did he react? What is he thinking right now? He's not paying me enough attention, or why is he looking kind of that way, or why is he busy if we're at home, like why is he busy with something else and haven't given me any attention for just such a long time. So it was just like constant roller coaster, and I was always outside of myself, basically in his business, in his field, constantly demanding and wanting something, or reacting and responding to who he was in that moment. If he was stressed, I would get stressed. If he was unhappy with something, I would get really disturbed and agitated and unhappy as well. So constantly tuning myself to his reactions, his responses to life, his response. He was quite stressed because of the business, and nothing really to do with me, but I took everything personally. Every single word, every single look on his face, in every single tone, everything I was taking personally, and it was really turning my life in hell in living hell, and actually not helping our relationship at all. So I started working with a psychologist, and she said, you need to detach from him completely. And I couldn't understand. I couldn't get it. Like, that was just such a news to me. It was a concept completely unfamiliar, and I was like, what does it even mean? And she drew two circles. She said, this is you, this is him. Well, look, right now you like on his circle, you're like right inside, you just getting into in his space completely. You like over you're not having your own boundaries, and you're not letting him to have his boundaries as well. So that was a completely brand new concept to me, because I never learned to be single for being at that young age, being a young woman fully in love. And also by that time, I always, as long as I remember myself, I have been in relationships. So the longest I was without a relationship was just a few months, couple of months, and you know, it's kind of, while you're single, you're on lookout. You have dating or hanging out with this guy or that guy, so you're kind of always on search. So it was either a search or a relationship. So I never really learned how to be me, who am I, and how to be by myself, not so dependent, attached onto other person, and having my own space. So that was a big lesson where I needed to learn how to be together, and also as your own independent being. And it's incredibly important, because then it can actually become a relationship. It can become a beautiful communication, and beautiful dance, and beautiful sharing of who you are and who I am. And show me you, and I'll show you. Show me yours, I'll show you mine. Unless if you didn't arrive to this space, you don't know what you're going to be showing. You'll be like, oh, tell me what to show you. Tell me which part of me do you want to see, or oh my God, how are you going to respond to me if I show you me, if my true me? Or it's even worse, I don't even know who the hell am I, so I don't know what to show you. I'm just going to try to guess what to show you and what part of me. So to reach that deep authenticity and satisfaction in relationships, you need to be first single, independent, by yourself, with yourself, knowing your all ins and outs, knowing yourself in all different situations, in all different life situations, and knowing your boundaries, knowing your standards, knowing your values, what's important to you, and accept them to the depths of them. So when it's your time to show yourself to another person, you can do it. You can do it openly, without any fears, doubts, concerns, second thoughts, without any pretense. You don't need to hide. You don't need to lie. You don't need to be better than you are. You can just be you. So that's the beautiful step to a very connected and magical relationships. Because if the person doesn't want you to be you, or the person doesn't accept you for who you truly are, do you really want to be with them? Do you actually want to spend even a single moment with a human being that doesn't, you know, accept you, doesn't like you, doesn't see you, doesn't understand you, doesn't accept you? No, you don't want to waste time on that. I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.